Hey y'all, I'm Elisa, the Scrappy Wife behind ScrappyWife.com, and today we are going to get my paper pieces, my ephemera, a whole set of Alex drawers all organized. So if you want to join in and get some ideas for how to organize all of your paper pieces, stay tuned. All right, so most of my paper pieces are in this set of Alex drawers from IKEA. When I first moved into this craft space, I kind of just found places where everything was going to go. I've had a plan, but now that I've been in here for a while, I know that the way things function, I might need to change things up. And the first of that is, or the first big part of that is changing the location of where things are stored. You always want to consider in your craft room where your items are stored, not just because they fit in a certain place, but because of how you use the space. This being here is slightly more inconvenient to get to on a regular basis than it being right here. This one happens to be full of Cricut supplies. I don't need to get to my Cricut supplies all the time. That's more of a project every now and then. Paper pieces I want to get to almost every day. So the first thing I'm going to do is kind of switch where these two drawers are. Luckily, they are on wheels, so I can switch those around. And then we're going to take a deep dive into the drawers to see how I organize my ephemera and do a little bit of cleaning out and organizing. All right, so we're going to start diving into these drawers. One of the negative parts of an Alex drawer unit is that you can't open the drawers all the way. There's some wasted space back here. So when you're picking storage pieces to go in, boxes and things like that, you're going to want to pick things that you can easily kind of pull back out. I'm wanting to reorganize this just a little bit. I would like for this to include printables, like current printables. As you can see, I have these digital paper pieces right here. So I want it to include that, but I'm thinking I also want it to include not just a tray, but I want it to have printables like the full sheets of paper that are more recent. So I'm going to take a look at how I can kind of shift this around just a bit. All right, it took me quite a while to take off all of the stickers and labels. If you have any tips or tricks for how you remove labels from things, let me know in the comments below. But all of these pieces are from the Bright Room collection at Target. And why do I choose pieces like this when you can, there's a lot of different things you can choose. I choose pieces to organize with that are really flexible, that can be repurposed. Creativity changes and evolves over time. And I like investing in organization pieces that will allow me to change and evolve over time. So right now, these are going to hold paper pieces, but in the future, if I decide to try jewelry making or some other form of art, if I need to store felt pieces, these are going to serve several different functions. They're also not one-off organization pieces. You need to invest in organization pieces, not just that are super specific to your craft, but ones that you're going to be able to add on to over time, which is why I like to go maybe not always in the craft organization area, but in the bathroom organization and the kitchen organization, because those are going to be bins and tubs and containers that you can find over and over. It can be really hard to get these to stay in the right place. So I actually purchased some museum wax, and this is wax that you ball up and you put on the bottom of things that you need to stay in place, but it doesn't leave any marks. So what I do is I take a chunk like this, and then I just kind of ball it up. I'll probably put it in a couple of corners, and what this does will keep it in place. I can still lift it up. It's not like permanent glue or anything. So that'll be right there. I'll take it and very carefully press it down so now it doesn't move very easily. I can pick it up, I can move it, and then I can put it back down. This isn't gonna like dry out. Or it's like I said, it's not permanent. It's meant for museums to keep things on shelves in the right place. and it is really helpful in a craft room, especially when you have things sliding around in drawers. I always say you have to bring in, like, things need to be in other bins. You can't just have ephemera just floating around in your drawer. So this helps keep everything in place and allows me to open the drawer without everything sliding all over the place. So I'm going to put museum wax on this, and then we'll probably head to the next drawer. This wax has been so fantastic, and it has like changed how my life works in my craft room. I got this tip from the Home Edit that they use this in drawers and in shelving to keep things in place, and it has been fantastic, and I promise it doesn't leave marks. You don't want to put it directly on paper. It's definitely made for things like this, but it's awesome. All right, so the next two drawers are the ones that I'm kind of wanting to reconsider. In this drawer, I have kind of a mixture. These are supposed to be organized by color, but I've had some collections kind of sneak into here, like Vicki Boutin and Pink Fresh Studio, because I really like those collections. So I'm thinking I want this next drawer to be collections, and for the drawer underneath that to be by color. So I'm going to start to switch that up, and then we'll see what that looks like in the end. Again, this is what I'm talking about with using small containers like this. Look at the freedom I have to rearrange, to try different things, to slide them around. It just gives me lots of different possibilities. And for right now, it in my head works to have collections together and then some more general categories like colors and florals and words together, but that might change in the future. And if I do change how I like to organize things, then I have the containers that work. Now, that being said, how do you choose to organize ephemera pieces? I like to choose by color. That is my like go-to when I'm doing different projects, like a project that's kind of a one-off. However, when I receive collections, I do usually keep those together for a good amount of time until that collection starts to dwindle, until I've used a ton of that collection, and then I will disperse those pieces into the different color categories. I do have my label maker out. I use a P-Touch label maker. That is pretty key, especially for some of these pieces that are going to be back towards the back of the drawer. I don't see them with my eyes, but I will be able to see the labels very clearly. All of my Kelly Bangs ephemera will be all together, so I know where to go for it, and I can easily see which one is which, where they're all labeled, that kind of thing. So doing that really helps. These little shallow bins, these are also from the bathroom section at Target. I don't know that they are the Bright Room brand. I've had them for a few years. They're great for organizing small projects or very small little collections, and they fit the Kelly Bangs ephemera pieces really well. So those are where I'm going to keep all my Kelly Bangs. I don't have a lot of the clear bins. I don't have any more of the clear bins, I guess I would say. But look, now I'm like playing, it's like playing Tetris, and I find that fun and exciting, and I find it cool to be able to shuffle things around and figure out what is going to work best for me. So enjoy a little music as I continue to shuffle, continue to figure out where things are going to go. And then as you're watching, let me know in the comments, how do you like to organize your paper pieces? Do you organize them by size, by color, by theme, by collection? I would love to hear how it works for your brain. I like to know how other creative brains work. So let me know in the comments below. Okay, so let's take a look at what we have so far. This is the top drawer that will be for printables. And I think that I'm actually going to take this out, move this over, see how I can move the modeling, the museum wax, not a big deal. Move those over. I'm going to relocate these in just a second. The next drawer is full of collections. I have so much. This is just a good reminder that I need to use what I have in my stash. And luckily, I make cards for my patrons every month, so it's time to dig into this a bit. Then the next drawer, I'm going to take one of these to kind of finish out this little groove right here. And then I'll probably switch this out because it already has the museum wax on it. So that's going to help keep those in place. I'll add some more museum wax down here. This is color, specifically colorful things. And then you know what I'm going to do is actually make a little more room for collections by moving these two here. This is together. These pieces are together. This is all one collection. This is Hip Kit Club, so I'm going to put those there. And then this collection will work well. These will be tags in florals, and then I can finish out this drawer. But this is mostly like big groupings of things, color-coded and florals. Then we come down here. We start to get to collage pieces, some traveler's notebook paper, just some different things that I have. I could probably move these cards. I'm going to actually move these up here. You know, that might be because they didn't fit right there. Okay, never mind. Cards will stay down here. Cards and tags. That will all work right there. This is just collage things. And then we get down to some empty stuff. So I have these empty drawers. That's fine. And then at the bottom, I have rolls of paper that are very full, as you can see. So it's probably time to start using some of those. But when you limit yourself to a certain amount of space, that is really helpful because then you know when you have too much. And obviously on some of these, I have too many things, but I do have an empty drawer. So I take that as a positive sign. We're going to close this out. Find an extra little thing right here. And I think we're ready to add some labels. I'm going to put labels right here on the Alex drawers. I'm not going to do big vinyl labels this time around because I still think there's probably some shifting that needs to happen. So we're going to be a little bit looser. Let's add a little bit more of the museum wax and then get to labeling. Once I have everything settled where I want it, I can go back to this museum wax, add a little bit here and there to keep these in place. The cool thing about the museum wax is you can always pull it up, move it around. It's not a permanent solution, but it is going to hold those so it doesn't slide around in the drawer all the time. After I get everything in place, then I will take my label maker and I'm going to add labels to all of the drawers. Again, the top drawer is going to be digital printables. The second drawer is going to be labeled collections. The third drawer is called colors and categories. The fourth drawer says collage and papers, then marbled papers, and what I call fancy papers. So that is going to be it for my ephemera. I'm kind of excited to dive into this set of Alex drawers to do some creating. I even pulled out some ephemera right after this to start working on some cards for my Patreon members. So I hope this inspires you to dig into your ephemera or whatever category it is that needs to get organized and get going. I will link supplies down in the description box below if you want to check out those links. I also want to give a huge shout out to all of my Patreon members. We are spending the month of January getting our craft spaces organized. So if you need a little extra inspiration for organization, head on over to Patreon. There is a link for that in the description box below as well. All right, that is going to wrap it up for me. I hope that you have an absolutely fabulous day. And as always, keep it creative.